Hi, here are top 10 misconceptions about Poland that nobody has. Number 1. Poland's space program managed to reach the moon before the US. When the United States of America first put a man on the moon in 1969, nice, they soon realized that a few Poles have already been there since 1945, when they launched themselves into space to escape communism. After first setting foot on the lunar surface, one of the Poles had remarked, "It's one small step for man, but a giant leap for me. Because I'm fucking drunk, and no one built proper steps on this fucking thing, kurwa." Now that story is a misconception. They never landed on the moon landings were fake. The American ones, that is. The Polish ones did happen, and they're still out there making vodka out of lunar dust to this day. Number 2. Poland is the rightful successor to the Roman Empire. Some of you may have heard the theory about the Turbo-Slavic Empire called Lechia, that supposedly existed for thousands of years, spanned most of Europe and was led by Poles, but was somehow erased from history books. It was the main reason why Rome never really expanded into the Slavic lands and why Western Roman Empire ultimately fell. Now since Lechia kicked Rome's anus and Poland is Lechia, Poland is now the new Roman Empire through the right of conquest. Now that story is bullshit, because this Turbo-Slavic Empire probably never existed. You know what did exist though? Barbarians. And you know what Poles were in those times? Barbarians. And you know who sacked Rome? Barbarians. And who are Poles now? Barbarians. Draw your own conclusions. Number 3. Poland successfully defended itself against both the Third Reich and the Soviet Union during the Second World War. Sure, Poland could barely slow the Germans down, and when the Soviets attacked from the east, it was basically over. Consider this, however. Does Poland exist today? Yes. Does the Soviet Union or the Third Reich exist? No. Reality doesn't lie, and neither do I. Number 4. The wings of the Winged Hussars allowed them to fly above the battlefield and rain death from above. Now since the Winged Hussars had wings, and wings are meant to allow flight, the Winged Hussars should have been able to fly, right? Unfortunately, this is a misconception. The wings were merely there to look nice and intimidate the enemy. What allowed the Hussars to fly were their specially bred horses, typically called Pegasi. Number 5. When the Winged Hussars arrived, they never left, and to this day serve in the Polish military. That is only a legend. The Winged Hussars were actually discontinued after a series of charges into enemy infantry ended in crashing into the ground at high speed as the mass of flying horses was unable to pull up in time. As sad and disappointing as the story is, it sped up the adoption of airplanes, which soon replaced horses even in civilian airlines. Number 6. Poles don't drink alcohol. Number 7. Communism in Poland never fell, and Poland is still communist today. Now, I'm a libertarian, so from my perspective, this one is actually true. Poland is communist, and so is the European Union, the United States, almost every other country in the world, and you are communist, your family is communist, everyone in the world is a stinky commie except maybe for me and Janusz Korwin-Mikke, who's merely a socialist. Number 8. Polish is one of the easiest languages in the world. It is so easy to learn, I was literally fluent in it when I was a child. Unfortunately, that is a misconception. Polish isn't one of the easiest languages in the world, but the easiest language in the world. Look at this sentence I have just crafted for you. Wszyscy szczodrze głaszczą wstrzemięźliwe pszczoły. A child could learn it. Number 9. Two number 9s. A number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip. Forgive me for this, I ran out of ideas for number 9 and this quote just popped into my head. Moving on. Number 10. Poland has no citizens left because they all emigrated to the West. This can't be true. I know at least 5 other people in this country, so they exist, but I can't tell you how many because I don't leave my house very often. And that's it for the top 10 misconceptions about Poland that nobody has. If you have any suggestions for future videos I could make, feel free to leave a comment so that I don't have to use my brain too much. Leave a like if you feel so inclined, and see you next time.